Spider-Man! Spider-Man! I'm losing my mind as Spider-Man! Oh, hello there, friends! It's me, Shenaniloon. Least, I think I'm Shenaniloon. I've been playing Spider-Man for so long that maybe, just maybe, I am Spider-Man. Who's to say? The last 2 months of my life have been mainly dedicated to this one challenge, beating Marvel's Spider-Man entire story without taking any damage, even once on Ultimate difficulty, the hardest of them all. That means a single ill-intentioned boop or slight misstep can lead me right back to 0%, no matter how far I've gotten. Fun stuff. I admit, I went in a bit cocky, thinking, hey, I've beaten this game twice before, and it never gave me much trouble. Surely I've got this in a few tries. What a youthful fool 2 months ago me was. I can use whatever I have at my disposal to win, and trust me, I'm gonna need it all. One last thing before we get into it. If you haven't played Marvel's Spider-Man before, first, my condolences for going this long without such joy. Second, spoilers ahead! Now let's go be the ultimate Spider-Man. I don my costume and head to arrest the Kingpin of Crime. A group of his thugs are causing chaos in Times Square, so I take a moment to deal with them for the first fight of the game. And the first defeat when I'm hit right away. Welp, that's not a good sign of things to come. Just a bit rusty. I restart, smash through the blockade, and hitch a ride by a driverless car to Fist Tower. Willie isn't a fan of being arrested, so every floor holds a wave of enemies. I take damage when I sneeze too hard, but worry not, this is unavoidable tutorial damage and doesn't count. Spidey should probably get that checked out, though. My big bad beautiful Baldy is actually incredibly easy to defeat, despite the cutscenes showing the contrary. I'm just playing along with Kingpin to make my victory all the more epic. It does help when he hits his own men for me. Very considerate of him. I discover a group of burglars trying to, burgle, as their name suggests. But gotta love their confidence, if not their intelligence, doing it right next to the police station. At the lab, I do some science, cause, as if you didn't know, I'm something of a scientist myself. I really feel like Peter here, and I see why he likes his science work so much. It's the one time I'm not getting shot at. When my boss, Otto Octavius, discovers me repairing my suit, he helps me build a much better, cooler looking suit. Which I immediately discard in favor of the greatest suit of them all. A spare Fantastic Four uniform and a paper bag over my head. The bombastic bagman is ready to take on all evildoers. Fisk's old construction sites are still up and raking him in dirty money, so I had to put a stop to them. Unfortunately, a rocket to the face ruins that thought. Making my way back, this time I managed to not get my face exploded, but do instead get shot at a second Fisk site. Now you might be asking, hey, Shenaniloon, you crazy goober you, why the heck are you doing side missions that put you at risk and not just the story? That's an excellent question, you inquisitive audience, you. I do this for 2 reasons. 1, to gather experience and gear to make myself more powerful and ready for harder challenges I can't avoid. And 2, if I can't beat these guys with ease, I don't have much chance of beating the whole game without damage. Practice, you know? I visit an art museum because I'm a cultured Spidey, and I find the place being ransacked by masked men called the Demons. While apprehending them, I accidentally knock over a lot of the art. This is why I wear the mask. Protecting family is good and well, but mainly, I don't want to be sued. The Shocker interrupts my dinner date with MJ, so I have no choice but to interrupt his thieving. We have a nice chase around the city, but I'm never in real danger as there's a lot of warning before every blast he sends my way. With his arrest, I go try out my private eye skills, tailing a couple of suspects. Have to say, this is actually quite easy if shooting them full of webs still doesn't grab their attention. Unfortunately, my run is cut short here when I not only take damage, but I actually die. I admit, not my smartest move, but I was curious, what can I say? On my next run, I encounter Shocker robbing a bank, and things go pretty well chucking rocks at him till he manages to blast me unexpectedly near the end of the fight. Losing at 20% completed stung, but I started anew. My new run is cut short pretty quickly when everything turns extra dark, then ultra bright, and my game crashes. Yay! Making it past the Shocker chase again, I discover this truly inspirational sign at the Feast Homeless Shelter. I'm almost moved to tears with how undeniably inspiring it is. I'm going to need that inspiration in the shelter itself when I lose my job after the mayor, Norman Osborn, shows up and cuts our funding. What a jerk. Would it be a real shame if a bunch of supervillains got together and decided to destroy that guy's life? It is a tad concerning that the very next thing Spidey goes and does is inhale a bunch of toxic fumes. But don't worry, it's for science, not because the job loss. That makes it A-okay. Despite how simple Shocker is as a boss fight, I'm still not quite ready to take him down. Reaching him for a 3rd time, this time I pay less attention to what he's doing and more attention to my Spider-Sense glow to know when to dodge. That works out, and I finally brought down the Shocker, the first true boss fight. No offense, Fisk, you're great too, just not really a boss in my book if they make a bunch of henchman versions of you throughout the game. Now that demon gang is trying to ambush me while I'm zipping through the city. What's the world coming to when a spider-human hybrid with a paper bag on his head can't swing through the city using artificial webs without getting attacked by a bunch of glowy fanatics dressed with demon masks and rocket launchers? Sheesh! I clear out a bunch of Fisk goons using some Spidey stealth and make the acquaintance of Jefferson Davis, the only cop in the city other than my friend Yuri who actually does something. He proves himself great in my book when he gives me a gun right away. Sure, it's a taser gun, but still, Spider-Man isn't holding back anymore. The demons have beaten us to the Fisk Armory, forcing me to give chase. I'd be scared if they had guns, because the game's very fickle about dodging bullets when on a car chase, but thankfully all they have is a rocket launcher, which is actually quite easy to dodge. And if they don't hit me, does it really matter where all those rockets end up? I'm sure it's fine. I nearly die horribly, which would really hurt the challenge, but thankfully Jefferson saves me. This guy's just so wonderful. I'm glad to have him around. Oh, he's dead. Well, frick. Thankfully, I discover a second of these amazing inspirational signs telling me to be strong. They really are there for me when I need them most. I set about getting justice for my cop buddy by hunting down the demon gang and their rageful leader who runs the homeless shelter I happen to volunteer at. What a small world. By now, the mayor, continuing to prove how sucky he is, has called in a private military group known as Sable International to impose martial law on the streets as a response to the demon gang's attacks. These stormtrooper-looking villains don't much care for me, and when I find them fighting the demons in the streets, I'm forced to use my bulletproof suit power. Demons are my official enemies, and therefore I can dodge their fire. Sable's more of a frenemy, so I can't dodge their shots, but I can still randomly get hit by them, which, you know, sucks. So bulletproof is absolutely essential. I devour some pigeons as human spiders are known to do, and also take some time to vaccinate some fish. Because, sure, why not? I wear a paper bag over my head while fighting crime. I don't even pretend to understand how Bagman's mind works. I decide I love not getting shot at so much that I don't even need to get paid to do it, so I continue to help Otto build highly advanced prosthetics. Unfortunately, people are always trying to die, so I have to go stop that. On my way to save a hostage from the demons, I fail to remember the rule in case of fire, use the stairs, and I take a firebomb to the face while in the elevator shaft. So time to swing all the way back to the start. And when I finally make it back, I get hit by another firebomb. This is fine. Back we go, and this time I simply wait as the firebombs are all used up before advancing. I think I'd actually have to hit myself with a real firebomb if I had to restart a third time from that. Time to go to a Halloween party. I watch the lizard show off some pretty amazing dance moves, cuddle with the rhino, and finally fail. Yep, I stupidly run right at a gunman and shot a second before my EMP power disables their weapons. I shed a single well-deserved tear as I delete my save at 50% and begin the climb again. One might think getting that far should make it rather simple to make it back up, but you forget one key factor. I am an idiot. Yes, an impatient idiot. I managed to rack up defeat after defeat, restarting over and over again. It hurt a special amount when a grenade lands right next to me as I'm stuck in the Web Blossom power animation with nothing to do but suffer. Or when I was web throwing an enemy in the art gallery and the art itself attacked me. The worst one was getting shot by a guy who wasn't even looking at me at the time. None of them are. In fact, none of them are even pointing their guns at me, yet I take damage anyways. I had no idea Magneto was hiding around here to make my life miserable. After 80 plus hours of attempting this challenge, this final failure made me accept it was taking far too long to beat a challenge that could break the rules of reality whenever it pleased. So while I keep it on ultimate difficulty, it's here that I choose to change the game to New Game Plus mode. This means I start off fully leveled up and with all my very useful gadgets like the Web Bomb and Concussion Blast, which together can easily wipe out whole groups. I can still easily lose with a single blip, and that I do plenty more, but now I don't have to spend nearly as long fighting every fight. The Fist Tower sequence that starts the game drops from 20 minutes to 14 minutes per success, and instead of 10% of the game completed per hour, it becomes 15% completed per hour on average. This upgrade really makes me actually feel like Spider-Man as well, as I can now take down enemies in a few hits. This makes sense, being I have superpowers and my enemies don't. Or maybe they do, and that explains why they can take so many manhole covers to the face. Doesn't change, I can still get hit by non-existent bullets, but heck, at least I can speedrun to getting myself shot. But with perseverance on my side, I managed to make it all the way to the demon gang rampaging through the city with a chemical called Devil's Breath that'll give everyone really nasty breath, I'm pretty sure. I strive to stop them by sending them flying off their giant truck, but it's here I managed to get shot yet again. I delete 60% of my soul along with the 60% save. My final defeat is, funny enough, in the same evil spot at the start of the game where I take damage from nowhere once again. As I start up yet another run, I realize one key fact. It is really hard to see through a paper bag, and maybe I'm not worthy to wield it. With great bag responsibility must come great bag power, or something like that. So I decided to don my other favorite outfit, Comic Spider-Man. A Spidey that doesn't quite look like he fits in this world. Hopefully, this confuses all my enemies enough to let me win. Fisk falls in record time, both him and most of his construction sites. I shut down Shocker along with demon fight after demon fight. I help a Fiskoon take a leap of faith, but I guess he should have had more faith. I saved the hostage, caught a rhino again, talked to some beautiful ladies, and beat up a bunch of innocent brainwashed college students. When the demons crash through the city again, this time I'm ready for them, sending them flying off where they're most likely killed in the rampage. But I don't see it happen, so I'm not blamable. Pretty sure that's how law and morality works anyways. I face Martin Lee, the demon leader in the depths of my mind, and easily best him using the power of a spider drone to fight my battles for me. Willpower is great and all, but firepower is a fantastic substitute. Breaking free of his mind control, I managed to bring it into our joyride with a crash. Unfortunately, this is a miracle car crash where no one is hurt, so I wake to find Lee escaped. But worry not, he's waiting in Grand Central Station for a proper showdown. Every move he makes is telegraphed and easy to avoid, allowing me to bring him down on my first go. Doesn't change that my heart was threatening to vacate my body with how worried I was fighting him. With Lee down, the city is safe. Yet, credits aren't rolling strangely enough. Better go talk to Otto again and see if he knows what's up. Oh, yep, I see. He's gone the mad scientist route with his work, and these special arms comes a more deranged personality. Of course. I decide to leave him unsupervised so he can go on his evil plot to destroy the mayor's reputation and life. Which I did say I wanted. I'm starting to think Peter knew exactly what would happen. Rikers Island, the main prison, is suddenly thrown into chaos, and I set about fixing it. Using bulletproof and lots of webbing, I managed to subdue the rioting prisoners both here and at the Raft, the Supermax prison. Unfortunately, in a cutscene, Spidey's unprepared to take on 5 of his worst supervillains at once, and I watch a visual representation of what this challenge has felt like. Otto shows up, revealing himself as the man behind the breakout and flinging me away. Truly, what a small world that 2 people close to Peter are the main bad guys. Science has betrayed me after all. Who could have seen that coming? It's not like there's 60 years of comics and a couple of movies to warn me. Well, now 6 supervillains are loose in the city with chaos everywhere and armed men on nearly every rooftop. Plus, Otto's released the Devil's Breath in the city, spreading some serious halitosis. Why he chose to release it, then put on his mask, I'll never understand. He has all those arms and is a super genius, yet can't think of putting his mask on first. Odd move. While I love web slinging, my secret weapon in this super dangerous Act 3 is the subway. Fast traveling by subway is a perfectly safe way to get around, and when I have no choice but to web sling, I find the soup mod of slowing time after a perfect dodge is very key here. Sure, all the criminals are still menacing the streets, but with great anxiety comes the great responsibility to not get shot. Using concussion blast and bulletproof, I managed to retake the police stations from Electro and Rhino's demon reinforcements, even scraping by when a Sable ambush occurs. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention, Sable's now actively hunting me as well, so that's a fun development, yay! I engage Vulture and Electro in a 2v1 boss fight, and I have to say, I did not realize how easy these guys are. The bosses keep proving far easier to defeat than their gun-wielding soldiers, as every attack is highly warned against and easy to respond to. As if in response to my feelings of ease, I'm poisoned by the Scorpion, and begin to hallucinate a lake of poison. Joke's on you, Mac! This is infinitely better than the snipers on every building taking shots at me. And I've been playing for so long, I was already hallucinating giant scorpion tails. That's nothing new. I managed to fall off a ledge while fighting imaginary scorpions, but I just dissipate into nothingness, and as there's no health bar drop, the run is still safe. Soon after, I find myself facing the real Scorpion and Rhino, and boy, oh boy, was it terrifying. I mean, the fight itself is straightforward and quite easy, but I nearly become a pancake by Rhino. Only using a finisher on Scorpion am I able to avoid taking damage. And somehow he still doesn't hit me while I'm stuck in the final heartbeat of the finisher animation. I nearly fainted at that. It's much simpler to beat Rhino on his own now that Scorpion's down, and I leave the two to murder each other in a shipping container. Tracking down Lee, I face one more heart-stopping fight in battling Sable, not Lee himself. Thankfully, perfect dodge takedowns are key, plus bulletproof really is keeping me safe just in case. Finally reaching Lee as he tries to kill Osborn, I engage in perhaps the easiest boss fight of all, due to one key factor. He's surrounded by lab equipment that I love to chuck at him. And while he summons a very scary demon version of himself, it's actually quite easy to avoid while I endlessly throw things at him. With Lee's defeat, I acquire the cure to Devil's Breath, but it's stolen from me immediately by Doc Ock, who beats me pretty soundly. But it's in a cutscene and therefore an acceptable beatdown. When I wake, I stop by the old lab where very convenient new suit plans made specifically to fight Doc Ock are waiting. I'm forced to don this admittedly very cool suit and head for the endgame. The final showdown with my old friend is actually quite easy. While Otto has way too much health for a frail middle-aged man, all his attacks, as usual for these boss fights, give lots of warning. But seriously, why does he have so much health? He takes more damage than basically any other boss, and the last time I checked, he doesn't have any superpowers or even real armor. Guess being a scientist is truly the greatest power of all. I expected after coming all this way to be on edge, but I'm actually surprisingly calm in this final battle, confident in my ability to win. After Otto breaks my web shooters, the fight becomes even simpler, and a few punches later, I've done it! Huzzah! The fight is won! I've beaten the complete Spider-Man story without taking any damage the whole run. I wish I could say I did it in a couple tries, but I have to settle for about my 130th attempt being my victory. My final run took 7 hours and 17 minutes, though I spent over 100 hours attempting the challenge. The hardest part of the challenge was actually Fist Tower right at the start of the game, as I had far less at my disposal to fight, plus too many horrible glitches getting me hit for no reason. The easiest part was actually the boss fights themselves. Strangely enough, only Shocker gave me real trouble, and he's actually quite easy to fight. I was just stupid, as I'm quite known to be. As much trouble as this challenge gave me, I truly enjoyed doing it when I wasn't crying on the floor, though I do that regardless. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and if you did, I'd love to hear from you, whether that be through comments, likes, or subscribing. Now go see about doing your in real life no damage run. Go have fun, and be safe, friends. See you later.